everything in Africa.
Southern Mexico. Surrounded by dense forests in the foothills of the Tambala Mountains lie the ruins of the ancient Mayan city of Palenque. Established as early as 1800 BC, Palenque was one of the key population centers of the ancient Maya civilization that dominated present-day Central America for nearly 2,000 years. Without metal tools, the wheel, or pack animals, the Maya built cities like Palenque across a vast region with incredible architectural precision.
See, that's what bugs me. He say they didn't have no wheels, no metal tools, and all that. How does he know that? How can he say that? You know, this greatness of these people that supposed to had a spaceship, but they weren't smart enough to make a wheel. You see?
There are a number of texts around the Maya world that mention 4 cities in association with 4 directions. Palenque is recognized in these texts as the western capital of the Maya world. The southern one was Copan, the eastern one was Tikal, and the northernmost one was Calakmul.
What I find the most impressive about them is that they were able to build a civilization out of the jungle. Jungles have really thin topsoil, and for them to be able to support a huge population, which is 20 or 30 times what the population is in that area today, is amazing.
Regarded by scholars as one of the most sophisticated and complex civilizations in the ancient world, Maya triumphs included numerous scientific achievements in agriculture, engineering, and astronomy.
They didn't have a lot of things that we think of as the hallmarks of advancement, but what they did have is advanced mythology, advanced language, an advanced religious culture.
See, this is the stuff I'm talking about. All this stuff that they had, you know, they obviously got some mathematical genius going on, because you have to be able to measure the distance from the ground to the top when you make these different pieces, because when you put them on top of each other, they got to be the right height. That is not something that just happened accidentally. But then he wants to sit here and try. Listen to the description of them that he give you. It's everything other than them being intelligent as people. He gonna sit there and tell you they got an understanding of astrology and mythology. In order to understand astrology, that means that you got to be able to have a sophisticated mathematical system. Otherwise, how are you gonna know how much time that went by before the same star that you started watching show up again? How you gonna keep sequential, if you will, chronological data and stuff like that if you're not already an advanced mathematician or Scientologist? Scientology got to be a big part of your existence. Well, this is what I mean. You're not going to be smart enough to even know that if I stand out here long enough and watch this star, it'll come back. That takes years of observation to say, damn, ain't this the star we saw right here before? And that means that it had to be fabricated and planned, because one person would have died and had to give the information to the next person in line. It had to be sequential. So now listen to this bullshit that he says and see why I get upset all the time, because I'm tired of them miseducating us and making us all be stupid as hell. Now just listen.
Which is 20 or 30 times what the population is in that area today, is amazing.
Look at the nose. See? They break them off because they don't want you to see the African features. Do you see? That's why they broke the nose off.
Regarded by scholars as one of the most sophisticated and complex civilizations in the ancient world,
Okay, sophisticated and complex civilizations in the ancient world. Now that's what he just said, right? Now watch this. Sophisticated and complex. That means intelligent. in so many ways. But now watch what he comes around and say. In other words, when you see these bricks and how they was able to form these angles and put them in stone and everything, you know they had mathematical capability. But watch how he contradicts himself.
Triumphs included numerous scientific achievements in agriculture, engineering, and astronomy.
They didn't have a lot of things that we think of as the hallmarks of advancement.
Well, one of the hallmarks of advancement could you be talking about when you know that they had a spaceship, and after the description of everything he just gave you, they was right on point with everything. They had agricultural, they were doing the zodiac thing, they were already making monuments, they had everything sustained within themselves. So what features did you bring them that you're trying to convince the world you brought? You didn't bring them anything. You came and took everything from them. Now see, this is why I get angry. There was nothing left for you to come up on the earth to improve anything. And that's why you did not improve anything. You destroyed everything. Okay, so don't try to take away the greatness from these people. They were all that before you got here. When you showed up, you were the reason why they all disappeared and all their existence became dilapidated.
What they did have is advanced mythology, advanced language,
advanced mythology, advanced language. That means that they had already passed the level of simple mythology. They had already passed the level of simple language. And so that's what he wants you to believe is the only thing that they had to contribute to the world. But you can see they ancient structures when you can't find any ancient structures like this other white man that predate these structures. So that's why I'm attacking him, because he's sitting up trying to make them be beneath him. That's what he's doing. And that's what needs to stop happening on this planet. It needs to stop.
One of the most advanced and demise of the ancient Maya civilization. As early as 1800 BC.
Cities in association with culture.
The site of Palenque is still a vast, unexcavated site. They think that only 10% of the city has so far been excavated.
Bullshit. If that was the truth, you would see nothing but they white asses all over that thing right now. The only reason why you don't see a million trillion white men out there with cranes and everything is because what loot and what bounty was there for them to steal and pillage and run off with, they took it all already. When they came in and murdered all the people that was here, the gold and the diamonds and the women and everything that was here that was profitable to them, they took it already. So they don't have no reason to sit up talk about we excavated and this and that. You didn't find these as ruins. You found these places with people on them, and you murdered all the people and stole all of the stealables when you did that. Now they trying to blow some smoke up your ass and tell you that these is places that was vacant and empty when they came here to the Americas. But that's not true. When they came into, the only reason they don't tell you the truth is because the whole Nina Pinta, Santa Maria lie and all that is all bullshit. When they came into the Americas, they came here with navies and came in and murdered the government and just took over the land like you see them get down everywhere else all over the planet to this day. So don't say this place is not being fully excavated, because if it had not been, y'all asses with y'all treasure hungry asses, even Harrison Ford would have had his ass out there with you, tomb raping motherfuckers, and you know that.
Archaeologists.
Archaeologists, my ass, tomb
Here
rapers.
at Palenque was very sophisticated, and the mines were actually able to have water pressure by siphoning water channels off of the main river.
See, it make it seem like it was so incredible for them to think about doing that. See, that's what bugs me. That's why I get so upset. They try to always deliver everything as if to say it was incredible that they was able to figure out how to do that, being that they were black, you know.
Celestial game where the players would knock a rubber ball through a stone or wooden hoop. It's thought.
See, you're seeing where the basketball stuff all originated from, as well as soccer and all that shit. They were all games that they all played here before the white man ever came. But you can see this sunlight in there, and I bet it was something synonymous with them watching how the sun moved around too. that this event was based on, because I don't see them as being competitive people. That's something came with the Europeans. This was probably a form of entertainment where everyone worked as a team to entertain the crowd without having a winner or a loser. Guaranteed
This
that.
is a representation of alignments of the sun.
When you start looking at all the various cultures, whether it is the ancient Babylonians, the ancient Egyptians, or the
Here's the
Mayans,
Egyptians.
we
Did
now
the same
know
thing.
that the people who were by far the most advanced was the Mayans.
That's not true, and I'm going to tell you why it's not true. Because they're going to sit up and try to dichotomize the Mayans from the Egyptians, when you can clearly understand and know for a fact that the Egyptians had the whole Nile Valley with their special way of doing things, and the Mayans had the whole valley of the Americas, Mesoamerica, all the way up to North America with their own unique way of doing things. But we were the same people. So you're not going to dichotomize it and say that one was greater than the other. This is their best trick to get you to compete with each other. You know, they see two brothers that have love and unity for each other and always get along and no problem. And the first thing they're going to do is try to destroy that and make these brothers bigger and fight amongst each other. That's what their best trick is.
According to Mate,
You can look at this wall and see that there are hieroglyphs no different than the hieroglyphs in Egypt. So you can't say one was greater than the other. It's just that simple. Only thing you can say is these two civilizations of melanated people who got information from the sun on how to build these sun temples.
mainstream historians, by the 9th century, the great Maya cities were abandoned, and the Maya people had vanished.
Now you see that Egyptian on the wall right there? You see how they drew their faces and their pictures in stone on their walls? And you see how grand it all look on the inside? What makes this any less or any greater than the Mayans? See, this is what I'm talking about. This is some great ass work right here that no one is ever going to stand up on this earth and compare and say that it was not as great as the Mayans' work. Okay, this is something that the European males can get credit for, always making things be dualistic all around the planet. Nothing can be complementary opposites with them. It's always got to be dualistic.
Egyptians or the Mayans, we now know that the people who were by far the most advanced was the Mayans.
And why is that?
According to mainstream historians,
No, according to white men.
by the 9th century, the great Maya cities were abandoned, and the Maya people.
This is what I want you to see. Just like you just saw the temple in Egypt with the king, Pharaoh all on the wall. Here's the same thing here. It's the same damn thing. So how can they decide which one was greater than the other? Especially when you have deterioration, dilapidation, all those things to consider. Okay? I say this not to be mean, but I say this to point out to the world. This is why the Mexican people and the African people we are all one family that has been dichotomized and destroyed by the European using the same type of division techniques as we hear right now. Well, one was better than the other, one was greater than the other. We were all the same family. Okay, so we're not going to try to say who was the greatest or who was the better one. All we're going to do is give the overall knowledge and accomplishment skills to the wholeness. And all of it being generated from the sun. So since it's all coming from the sun, we are all one under guidance of the sunlight. So that means that there should be no person trying to achieve their greatness over any other one. We should all just work together as the sunlight would instruct us to do to get the work of the sun done, which is the building of this new city, which is going to be done. Because all these white men who are going to sit around and think they're going to keep hoarding all the commodities of the